Welcome back to the Abraham Lincoln High School Wrestling Ring, and I'll be your host for today's match. Before I review our challengers, I'm going to introduce a wrestling fan's perspective on this match and their inspiring life defining who they are. That lucky person is Jonathan Ryan. This exchange will be addressing his family, his hobbies, and his thoughts about his future. So without further ado, let's start these sets of matches. First off, let's see who's part of Jonathan's tag team this fine hour. We have his brother, Jude, his mom, Carrie, a teacher here in AL, and his dad, Brett. He did wrestling a long time ago. We also have Jonathan's pets joining in as well. We have his golden retriever, Oscar, an older dog, Bo, a cat, Fat Kitty, and another cat, Lana. Next, let's start off our conversation at a neutral position and know more about Jonathan himself. He describes himself as impulsive, nervous for public speaking, and he says he's pretty shy in general. Something he would think people would be surprised when knowing about him, but a lot of us can relate to, understandably. Jonathan also has three big hobbies, such as cooking. His favorite dish to cook is risotto. He also loves watching movies. His favorite movie to watch is Pulp Fiction. And Jonathan also does wrestling. In fact, his proudest accomplishment to date was going to Nationals wrestling back-to-back years. Now, I do have to pin this conversation down for the moment, as our two challengers are going to be reviewed. But I asked him a question, what living or dead person would he meet and why? Jonathan said Tupac, because he would think Tupac would be fun to hang out with and talk to. Speaking of famous people, our match is going to begin. On one end of the wrestling ring, we have no other than Jordan Burroughs, who Jonathan admires and not only calls him the greatest of all time in American wrestling, and even he wrestled in Nebraska, but he also calls him a great family man. On the other end of the wrestling ring, we have the voice of a great celebrity, Taylor Swift. I asked Jonathan what his thoughts about this new challenger, and he said Taylor Swift was overrated. I guess we know who he's rooting for now. Now, getting back to our beatdown of questions, our next round will be a freestyle one. Jonathan's favorite subject is history because he feels they're down to earth history teachers here in LA. But if school was non-existent, then Jonathan would go to the beach. Jonathan also likes traveling, and he has fond memories going to Colorado, Portland, and on his best day, on the previous Christmas, he went to an NBA game to see someone get dunked on, apparently. He also wants to go to other places such as Spain and Iceland. But when he's not outside, he's inside. To treasure his most prized possession, a PS5. Finally, it's time to tap out, slow down, so we can reflect on what to do a few minutes later in the match to many years later. Jonathan has no finalized plans after graduation, discounting that he imagines he wouldn't live in Iowa forever. Though if he had for his dream future, Jonathan would want to win the lottery to buy luxuries and take care of his 2 kids and wife he wants to have. Now, let's end things off with a takedown rather than a letdown, where when asked the question to what extent he would change himself if he could travel back to the past, well, Jonathan would not only want to pay attention to class more, but he would seek to be over 6 feet tall. As the shot clock ticks down to its final seconds, it's time to bring out a final message. In retrospect, Jonathan's life both wrestles externally as his hobby and internally when, like many others, our futures seem far distant in the loud crowd. However, with Jonathan's pets and family by his side, the opportunities in the sports and hobbies he does, and him taking risks such as public speaking now and wrestling then, Jonathan seems very ready to take on the challenge of a lifetime, a match for struggle, and an opportunity to persevere. Thank you for tuning in with the Abraham Lincoln High School Wrestling Ring.